Video number 228, dividing fractions. Let's review a basic concept of division. 12 divided by 4 is 3 because 12 divided into 4 groups is 3 because 4 groups of 3 would give us 12. And then there's a couple other examples that we've already looked at in previous videos. Well, let's take a look at 10 divided by half. Divided not in half, but divided by a half. In other words, you have to think about this the same way we thought of this. How many times does 4 go into 12? 3 times. How many times does 50 cents go into $10? 20 times. All right. How many times does 25 cents go into $10? Right? The answer is 40 because 1/4 goes into 1 4 times. Therefore, 1/4 goes into 10. Well, 10 times that amount. So therefore, 40. Same thing, it follows obviously that 10 divided by 1/5 is 50. Now this next one, 10 divided by 2/5. Here, this is interesting. 10 divided by 2/5, we can all safely say that since 2/5 is twice as big as 1/5, well, 10 divided by 2/5 is going to equal half the amount of times that we would divide 1/5 into 10. So this last example here, 10 divided by 1/5 is 50. Well, 10 divided by 2/5 is obviously going to go in less times. 1/5 is going to go into 10 a lot more than 2/5 will go into 10. Roughly twice as many times. That's why the solution would be 25. So we need to tuck this away in our back pocket, take a look at a pattern perhaps for later on in this video. Let's look at the next one. Obviously, 12 divided by 1/4 is 48. So therefore, 12 divided by 3/4. Well, obviously, 3/4 is 3 times the size of 1/4. So therefore, 12 divided by 3/4 is going to go into 12 only 1/3 of the amount of times that 1/4 goes in. Excuse me, this should say, well, actually, no, that's right. No, 1/3 the amount of times that 1/4 goes in. Thank you. Okay, so 1/4 is going to go into 12 48 times. Well, 12 divided by 3/4 is going to go in 1/3 of that amount of time because this is what? 3 times the size as this. So therefore, 12 divided by 3/4 goes in 1/3 the amount of times that 1/4 goes into 12. Therefore, 12 divided by 3/4 is 16 because 16 is 1/3 of 48. Discovery! What did we just discover? There's our pattern. Take a look. We'll put them side by side. 10 divided by 2/5 is 25. Right? 16 divided by 3/4 is 16. The pattern is 12 times 4 divided by 3 is 16. Or how about this? 12 divided by 3 times 4 is 16. 10 divided by 2 times 5 is 25. Or 10 times 5 divided by 2, 25. What we just discovered is right here. The whole number divided by numerator over denominator equals the whole number times the denominator, then divided by the numerator. Or in other words, the whole number times d over n, or in other words, whole number times d over 1 times n. So we just found our own discovery. So therefore, we can do 7/8 divided by 4/5. We can do 2/5 divided by 6/11, and so on. We can also do this one. We're actually going to change this to an improper fraction first so that we can actually perform this reciprocal situation that we've discovered. So 7/8 divided by 4/5 would equal 7/8 times 5/4, which will give us 35 over 32. Then we can do 2/5 divided by 6/11, so we can change that to 2/5 times 11 over 6. We can multiply across 22 over 30, which will give us 11 over 15, or cancel the 2 over 6, 1 down to a 3, therefore 11 over 15. And then this last one here, this third one on this page, we're going to change that 2 3/4 to an improper fraction first. 4 times 2 plus 3 is 11, so therefore put it over 4. Now guys, notice here, still division problem. This is still a division problem. 15/8 divided by 2 3/4 equals 15/8 divided by 11/4. These two steps are identical. We're just simply changing the way the second fraction looks. whole number, mixed number, improper fraction. Next step, change to multiplication, use the reciprocal. Then you do 15 times 4 over 8 times 11, so you can get 60 over 88, or reduce the 4 and 8 down to, well, that's a 1, that's a 2, so you get 15 over 22. Next one. Oh, in this slide, yes, I wanted to show this for sure. Guys, the way you can divide by 2 is one of two ways. Either decrease the numerator or increase the denominator. In these first two examples, we're going to show you exactly how to do this. 4/5 divided by 2 is just simply 2/5, because you're taking half of what you have. If you had 4 basketballs divided by 2, the answer would be 2 basketballs. So it's 4/5 divided by 2, which is 2/5. It's that simple. 7/8 divided by 2, that just simply, instead of doing, now you could call this 3.5 over 8, but we would not use that. So instead of decreasing the numerator, we're going to increase the denominator. By how much? Bam, times 2. So we'll have 7 over 16. 15 over 32 divided by 3, same thing. Since 15 does divide by 3, we're going to go ahead and bring that down to a 5. And then here, 11 definitely does not divide by 3, so our only choice is to increase the numerator. So when you're dividing by a whole number, you either decrease the numerator or increase the denominator. Think about that, meditate on that. It's obviously the only thing that makes sense. So we would end up with 2/5, 7/16, 5/32, and 11/96. Here's a couple more examples where you could see dividing two fractions written in different form. It's nothing different than what we've already done. It's just written differently. This is 4/5 divided by 9/11. So we're just obviously going to do what? 4/5 times 11 over 9. All right, same thing here. It's just written differently. So here's how those would shake down. And you have 4/5 times 11/9, 44 over 45. You're all set. Next one here, you have 5/6 times 15 over 2. Notice I kind of skipped that step where you do the division. I went ahead and just flipped this over right now and changed this to multiplication. So then I would have either 75 over 12, or I could reduce the 15 and 6, because that's a numerator, that's a denominator, that's a 5, that's a 2. 25/4 is 6 1/4. So there you have it, dividing fractions. Good times.